Welcome and thank you for coming out to this public hearing, what I call a town hall, on probably the single most important issue facing Prince William County residents and businesses today, and that's traffic. So the $64,000 question, or in this case the $95 million question, is what is Prince William County doing about it? And tonight we're going to be explaining exactly what all that means. The first objective of tonight is to ensure all of you gain a better understanding of what is being proposed with the widening of Route 1 from Featherstone Road to Mary's Way. That's objective number one. Objective number two is to ensure that you all know, if you're a property owner or a business owner, how your business is going to be impacted. And number three, it's an opportunity for you as a property owner or a business owner to share with us, myself and Prince William County Department of Transportation staff and our contract team, to ensure that you all have feedback, that you all share with us your concerns about the negative impacts that this construction project is going to have on your business and on your property. So there are three goals tonight. And you all are really important in making sure that we accomplish all three of those. My name is Frank Principe. I am your elected representative on the Prince William Board of County Supervisors. I represent the Woodbridge Magisterial District. I'm now in my third term. I'm a 28-year native to Woodbridge. I live off of Ripon Boulevard back in the Dawson Landing community. And as of September, a couple of months ago, I now have an empty nest. My twin 18-year-old girls have left the nest and gone off to Virginia Tech University. So I have a lot more time for town halls like this one. And the next one, if you're marking your calendar, is December 8th, and we're talking about schools and about education in Prince William County. And as always, there's always more information about these town halls and about what's going on in Woodbridge on the website, newwoodbridge.org, for additional information. Now, how are we going to manage tonight? There's a lot of folks here, a lot of information, very complicated, a lot of moving parts. We are going to go through a set of slides. I'm going to ask you, I'm going to beg you all to hold your questions until the end of the slide presentation. When at that time, I'm going to invite up the team of engineers and project officers and directors, the Director of Transportation, to come forward and receive our questions. We're going to do that for about 15 minutes after the presentation. And then we're going to be able to go back to the boards. Notice there are two sets of boards here. They're 6 and 6. They're a little bit different from what you're seeing on the board. So get one that you're comfortable with. And we will have staff at every board from the Department of Transportation or one of our contractors to be able to answer your questions about how it impacts your particular business or your particular piece of property. Now let me just say a few words about the project itself. Just make sure we're grounded and we're all on the same page. Number one, why are we doing this? Well, I started out by saying traffic was the number one concern for both Prince William residents and businesses, particularly in eastern Prince William. So the primary reason we're doing this is to deal with the significant traffic congestion that we all sit in, not 5 days a week, not just during rush hour, morning and evening, but 7 days a week. You know, they say that not only do we have the worst traffic congestion in the country right here in Northern Virginia, Woodbridge to DC, but it's the most consistently inconsistent traffic patterns that we see as well. So we never know just how bad it is on a Sunday afternoon, a Saturday morning, or Tuesday afternoon. It's just inconsistent on the patterns that we see. We think that by widening Route 1 from 4 lanes to 6, that we're going to see a significant reduction in traffic congestion and a better quality of life for the people who live here, the people who shop here, the people who work here. The second reason we're doing it is because of the record of pedestrian and bicycle safety that we have seen on the Route 1 corridor. Just since I've been in office, that's going on 9 years, we've had 15 pedestrian fatalities. right here in the Route 1 corridor of Woodbridge. Just in the 8 to 9 years I've been in office, there's been over 100 accidents involving pedestrians, bicycles, motorists in that same time frame. And between 2013 and 2015, we actually doubled the number of fatalities occurring on the Route 1 corridor. We have a pedestrian and bicycle safety problem. As you saw from the local news just yesterday, maybe it was this morning as well, that we just kicked off an annual enforcement program with our police department, where we are ticketing and fining very aggressively in this corridor for the next couple of weeks. We do it all the time, but this project, Street Smart, I think it's called, is focused on dealing with pedestrian safety issues. The third reason we're doing this, quite frankly, it's about economic development. It's not just economic development for the county, because we will appreciate and see a broader tax base, right, which will help us pay for the services and future roads for our next generation, but your economic development. We hope that you will thrive once we get through this chaotic construction project. Hopefully it's not going to be too chaotic, but we hope you thrive in a new Woodbridge economy with this project once it's over with. And quite frankly, number 4, it's part of a larger project. If you live here, if you've been up and down Route 1, you see today we are widening Route 1 for a total of about 7 miles. The project we're talking about tonight is just 1.3 miles of a larger 7-mile project that started down at Cardinal, right, and the bridge there over Neabsco Creek, and it's headed north up to the Occoquan River, more specifically to Annapolis Way, just before you get to the river. And there are 4 or 5 projects that are underway at different stages. 2 of those projects, construction projects, are done. But we still have 3 or 4 more projects to go, including this one. And that includes a $100 million flyover over Route 1 as you're coming off 95, headed east on Boulevard 123. At some point in the future, according to the design today, you will go up and over Route 1 into the Belmont Bay community. Now, all 7 miles of widening is paid for. Money's in the bank. Been designed, engineered, right-of-way has been acquired. Some of the construction projects are done. Some you see going on as we speak. The $100 million flyover, we don't have any money in the bank to pay for that. So I'm working very hard to ensure that once we start on this project, we're going to turn our attention to find funding for that flyover as well. And just to be absolutely clear, the Board of Supervisors is absolutely committed to the traffic congestion issues today. Not just because they're helping to fund the 7-mile stretch, but the board has now made a policy, a decision, that we're going to widen Route 1 from Cardinal south to 234 to match up with the widening that has already taken place down in Dumfries and Triangle. And more recently, the Board of Supervisors sort of floored me a little bit, but made a policy decision very recently that we're going to be advocating for the widening of Interstate 95 as well. That is a big price tag, but we are behind it now from a policy decision point. And everybody knows that in the last 3 or 4 years, the last 5 years, we have added two lanes, northbound, southbound, on Interstate 95. If you recall, we added a shoulder back in 2011, 2012, from the Occoquan Bridge up to the Fairfax County Parkway. And then with the initiation of the hot lanes, high occupancy toll lanes, Transurban and Floyd came in and added an additional lane in between as well. So we are dealing with the traffic congestion here in Prince William and getting through Prince William. Let me tell you about the what. What is this project, right? We talk about the widening of Route 1 from 4 lanes to 6. This project will include a landscape median in the middle. So it is a divided 6-lane road. We will have a sidewalk on the, get it right, east side? Sidewalk on the east side, about 5-foot wide sidewalk, and about a 8-foot asphalt trail on the opposite side. And I know a lot of folks that have lived in Woodbridge have told me, Woodbridge doesn't have any sidewalks, or if we do, they're sidewalks to nowhere. Well, this project, along with the other 7 miles, will be adding new sidewalk and new trail to Woodbridge that will be part of a 50-mile loop of sidewalks and trails that will enable you to walk along the Occoquan and Potomac River through the 2 national wildlife refuges, down to south of Lisa Venue State Park, and back up Route 1 in a loop. And we're calling it the Woodbridge Loop. Much of that is already built. It is not all built today, but we have funding requests in and design engineering requests to be able to make that a reality, hopefully by 2020 or 2021. Who's in charge? This project is a project of the Prince William County Department of Transportation. Prince William County Department of Transportation was also responsible for the construction project from the Absco Mills up to Featherstone Road. And you saw how smoothly that went, right, Mr. Bolger? Absolutely. That went real smooth. Former Director of Transportation. That project went really smooth. Prince William DOT is now doing this 1.3 mile segment. But our partners at the state level, the Virginia Department of Transportation, who's also here tonight somewhere, they're the ones responsible for the project from, would be Mary's Way to Annapolis Way, the last segment headed north up to the Occoquan River. So the state is responsible for that particular project. All in all, 74 properties will be impacted by this project, 74. And of the 74, there's potentially 41 potential business relocations. So this is a big, big project. And the job of the Prince William Department of Transportation and myself is to mitigate the impact on your property and on your business. And the only way we can do that is by getting your feedback, your concerns, and your questions out on the table, starting tonight. Well, officially we started at a town hall meeting back in March. If you were at the Potomac Library back in March, some of you were there. This is the second time, and there will be other opportunities. In fact, tonight is the opening of a comment period. It's government parlance for asking you to put it in writing. And we have until the end of the month. We'll give you more details about being able to ensure your comments are documented and into the official record for this project so that we truly can understand your concerns. Total 7 miles represents a $290 million investment in our road infrastructure here in eastern Prince William. And it's part of a much larger $1.4 billion, that's with a B, $1.4 billion investment, public and private sector investment going on in the Woodbridge Magisterial District today. So things are changing. And we like to call this transformation New Woodbridge. It is the vision of a new Woodbridge. And the residents and the businesses of this community have spoken loud and clear on what their top 3 priorities are. We want better development, we want more transportation choices, and we want stronger neighborhoods. And that is my exclusive focus, responsible for implementing the vision of a new Woodbridge.
Please do share your thoughts. This is the public hearing for this project that goes 1.3 miles from Mary's Way out to Featherstone, and it's the official public hearing. We want to hear from you. We have a court recorder in the back. We have, your surveys or your slips here in the middle of your programs. Please fill those out if you like. And if not, please grab some cards and make sure you get in touch with us after this meeting to talk and make sure that we are accomplishing your needs here. I know that there's a lot of interest in the right-of-way impact that's going on here, and there's a lot of angst about what's happening with properties, but I assure you that we are here to work with you. We have done this, like Supervisor Principe said, with the project before. We have worked with many businesses down there, and we hope to be able to work with you in the same way and make sure that you're all taken care of and everything is done properly and making sure that we're fair in everything we do. Couple things though, just how this project is kind of a bigger part of everything. Like you heard, VDOT's doing the northern piece, which is about a $100 million piece, up to the bridge, Annapolis Way, down to Mary's Way. We're getting together now and finally getting this piece done here in the middle after the piece that the county completed to the north of this, from Featherstone out to the Absco Mills and Cardinal Drive. This is about a $250 million investment in that section of the road. Hopefully, once we get this done, you will obviously see the improvement in the flow of traffic all through there. We want to make sure also that you take a look at our environmental documents. This is also an environmental public hearing, and make sure that you comment on that if there's some environmental impacts that you see. But what we have been seeing is that by creating these green areas and these grassy medians, we are helping out and actually bettering the situation in more permeable areas around this corridor. So it helps out, but please take a look at those documents as well and comment on that. With that said, this project was funded with a combination of funds. You see a VDOT project number on it because it does have some federal funds on it, but the majority of the funds for this project came from the Northern Virginia Transportation Authority. We're lucky here tonight to have Ms. Monica Backman, who's the executive director of the MBTA, with us tonight. Her organization was able to fund the majority of this project and has been able was able to get it started here for engineering as well. It's a combination of those funds as well as federal funds, and as we did before, the other project was a combination of state and federal funds, and the other one is state and federal funds as well. So as you see, we try to put as much money together to take a bite at this elephant, one bite at a time. Lawrence Farrell, who couldn't be today, he's our chief of construction and engineering. He's basically heading this program, and he's key and essential in this, and you will be able to contact him. But we do have Mr. Javier Ibe here today in the back there, who is the head of our design team, as well as Ms. Sherry DeJorian, also back there, who is the program manager. You'll see her name up here in the presentation here with us tonight. Then she'll be able to answer questions for you as well. Mark Gunn, who you'll be hearing from soon here, he'll be presenting the slides here and telling you all the technical aspects of it. And I'll remove myself and let the smarter people speak. And then we do have Tony Dean here as well. I'm not sure where he's at, but I know he's been part of a big team here heading this together for RDA, RDA is our consultant for this project. With that said, again, please give us your input today. We do want to hear from you. We have a lot of staff here. We have a lot of exhibits, a lot of ways you can communicate with us. Please let us know your thoughts. We're more than happy to work with you.
This is a location map. Project extends from Featherstone to Mary's Way, as we've discussed. Total project length is approximately 1.3 miles. We will be widening the road from its existing 4-lane configuration to a 6-lane divided. And on the next slide, we'll go through some of the typical section elements. There are also numerous safety, drainage, and traffic and pedestrian improvements incorporated into the design from one end to the other. The other major component of the project is the underground of the overhead utilities which exist throughout the project corridor. Consistent with what the county did to the south and what VDOT's doing to the north, the overhead utilities will be converted underground into a shared duct bank, primarily running along the west side of the road. This slide gives a typical section of the roadway, and there's boards in the back with this same exhibit for those of you who want to see it up a little closer. But basically, we'll have 3 through lanes in each direction. The outside lanes will be 15 foot wide, which is 3 feet wider than your typical lane width to accommodate bicycles. On the east side of the road, we'll have a 5-foot sidewalk, and on the west side, we'll have a 8-foot shared use path. And again, there'll be left turn lanes and right turn lanes added to this typical section where appropriate at the major intersections or entrances. Some of the main design features and considerations, the design speed of the road is 45 miles per hour. We do anticipate a 35 mile per hour posted speed consistent with the adjacent projects. There is a realignment of Bel Air Road at Village Drive to create a standard 4-leg intersection and align those crossroads to improve operations at that location. There are also some significant improvements being done at Longview, where we're adding some lanes and capacity, again, to improve the overall operation of the corridor. There are 5 traffic signals that will be reconstructed with the project. When you're looking at the display boards later, each of those signalized intersections has a traffic signal symbol on it. And each of those, kind of important to mention, each of those intersections will have pedestrian crossings controlled by the signal as well. Again, touching back on the pedestrian enhancements that are going to be provided. As Rick mentioned, we have made our way through the environmental process. Due to the federal funding, we're required to have a NEPA document. We have recently received federal highway approval of that document for public availability. It is here today. We encourage you to look at the document. Susan with 3E Engineering is our environmental specialist. She can help you with any questions you might have related to the environmental document. As part of those studies, we've done the hazardous materials due diligence, air and noise studies, analyzed wetland and streams where we don't anticipate any impacts, and also we've completed the necessary cultural resource studies where, again, we do not anticipate any effects. Right-of-way acquisition. As we mentioned, there are 74 properties that are anticipated to be affected by the project. And when we say affected, that means that for those 74 properties, we will need to acquire either right-of-way, permanent, or temporary easement, or some combination of those. There are 17 parcels that have been identified as potential total acquisitions. And we have identified 41 potential businesses that may need to be relocated with the project. We do have right-of-way specialists here as well tonight, as well as a manual that will walk you through that right-of-way acquisition process. It'll walk you through the appraisals, the offers, the relocation assistance that will be provided to business owners, and just a wealth of information to get you familiar with the process before the right-of-way team actually makes contact and begins through that process in the coming months. Any buildings that are impacted by the project and are acquired in the right-of-way acquisition process will be demolished shortly after they are acquired, so that we don't have vacant buildings standing out there for any duration of time. And again, the right-of-way folks. Jimmy Street, Tom Blazer, Tim Witter. Tim, could you just stand up so that the folks know who the right-of-way specialists are for when we break up into individual one-on-one discussions? These are the folks who really know that process best and can really answer some of the detailed questions you might have. That gets us to the project schedule. Obviously, tonight is one of the major milestones for any project. It's the formal public hearing. And as Rick mentioned, we do encourage all of your comments. Any thoughts you have on the project, please submit them to us, either on the comment sheets, by email. And I would also add, if you do have a concern with the project, that you talk to one of our staff one-on-one. We also encourage you to submit that in writing as well, just so that it can become a formal part of the record, and it can be combined with our transcript of the hearing and make sure it's properly evaluated. We do take all of the comments we get tonight, analyze them thoroughly, and work with the county and VDOT to see where we can adjust the plans to accommodate the requests of all of you. So all the comments are taken very seriously, and we're going to do everything we can to accommodate you. So after those comments are analyzed, we'll proceed with finalizing the design, and that will get us into the start of the right-of-way acquisition process. We will be initiating the work on the potential total acquisitions. Appraisals will start within the next probably 60 days following the hearing. And the partial acquisitions, where we just need a smaller amount of right-of-way and/or easements, will start in the spring. We'll spend essentially all of 2017 following through on the right-of-way acquisition process. 2018, we'll go ahead and move those utilities and get those relocated into the duct bank. And then at the end of 2018, we should be advertising the project for construction and having the project built between 2019 and 2021. As we mentioned, the current project estimate is $96 million. This slide shows a breakdown of the right-of-way and utilities estimate, which is $65 million, engineering $5 million, and construction $26 million. And with that, again, we encourage any and all comments tonight. We have, as you can see, a large amount of staff here to answer any questions you have. We have specialists in every discipline of engineering and right-of-way. So again, we welcome any questions that you might be able to provide to us tonight.